This video is a complete guide on how to get and how to optimally farm for the exotic class items that just got introduced into Destiny 2. These class items are insane because they allow you to combine the perks of two different exotics into a single exotic, and here is everything you will need to know in order to get them and complete the quest. Before you can begin the quest though, there is actually kind of a strange secret prelude that you need to do in order to access the quest. So the first thing you need to do is load in to the Pale Heart, and you have to have 2 players and exactly 2 players in your fire team. In fact, this entire process and the quest itself does require 2 players, so if you're looking for another player to group up with, you can join my Discord at discord.gg/shadowdestiny, and all of you will have this guide in common, so therefore everyone will know what to do and it will be great. You will then need to go and complete the overthrow activities in each of the 3 major destinations. So to be clear, you need to travel to the landing, do the overthrow, then travel to the blooming, do that overthrow, and then travel to the impasse and do that overthrow. When you complete the overthrows fully, there will actually be a secret wizard that is hiding nearby on each of the individual ones. Once you find the wizard, you will need to do some probably very basic mechanics in order to take it out, and then you will be able to travel on to the next part. I will try to put in the background gameplay a very easy way to find the wizard. So for example, in the landing, here is how you get to the wizard. In the blooming, you will basically need to go this way and then go around this area in order to finally see the wizard around this corner. And then lastly, in the impasse, you'll need to take this path, kind of jump over this area, and then around the corner in this little cave, you will eventually find the wizard. So once you've done all 3 of the overthrows and taken out all 3 of the wizards, you will then need to head to this middle area and go into this cave. You'll want to load in the blooming and then try to travel over here where you go to the refraction, and you will find this one area with a crystal room. When you're passing through this area, you will start to hear Savathun laugh, and that is when you know that you have progressed to the next part of the quest. You will then head back outside, and you will see these pyramids floating with some enemies spawning around. You will need to defeat the enemies until you eventually spawn a boss, and then you will need to damage the boss. Once you've done this, it will create an orb, and you will need to pick up the orb and then bring it all the way back to that room with the crystals where Savathun was laughing at you. You will then need to do the same thing for the other orb. So for example, if you did light orb first, you will then need to do a darkness orb and also bring it back and dunk it into that room. Once you get back to the room, there will be some more voice lines, and you will deposit your orb in order to finally turn around and see the flag for the quest, Dual Destiny. Something that I would like to note is you don't have to go through that arduous process of unlocking the event by doing the overthrow events every single time, because once you have it unlocked, once you've just done that part once, it will now appear on your map and you can just select it and launch it from there. So when you first load in, you'll notice that there are 2 plates, one light and one dark. And you will also notice that you either have a light aligned buff or a dark aligned buff in the bottom left of your screen. These will remain for basically the entire mission, and they're a core mechanic. So yeah, just look in the bottom left of your screen, see which buff you have, and then stand on the correct plate in order to actually begin. You will then need to jump down and then climb up, and eventually you'll reach this other area where you will find these pyramid things spawning in with some enemies. You can just clear these out, and eventually you will run past them and get all the way to the other side of this outdoor area. You don't actually have to kill every single one of the enemies, but just kind of make your way, as you can see here on screen, and then go into these cave areas, kind of like where you did the crystal mechanic in the original campaign. You will then find these little caves, and inside these little caves, there will be either a light plate or a dark plate. Over here, you can see where the dark plate is. Right around this corner in this little cubby area, there is the dark plate. So the light player needs to stand on the light plate and the dark player needs to stand on the dark plate. After you do this, the doors will open and allow you to progress forward. There will be a bunch of enemies spawning in and about 10 million thrall, but you can literally just ignore them, go through this little hole in the wall, jump down here, and you will find a rally flag. Place down the rally, and then you will proceed into this next room, where on the top, you'll notice another darkness plate, and underneath, you will notice a light plate. There will be a bunch of ads spawning in, and you need to defeat the ads until you see one of these big guys. See, like this guy. You have to take him out, and he will drop a mote depending on which element you are. So for me, I'm light, so I just got a light mote, and my teammate up above, who is dark, he's also defeating these same guys, and he's getting a darkness mote. The reason why you want these motes is because they charge up these symbols. So for me, I can see right here, I have a witness symbol. And my teammate up above, he is also going to be having symbols, but he will actually have far more symbols, and they will be kind of displayed all around the platform that he's on up there in like a vast circle. So the mechanic that needs to be done here is I need to look at my two symbols and communicate which ones they are to him so that he can shoot the correct symbols up above. After that, it will teleport you to this other room, and you will be doing essentially the same thing, except now you will be switching roles, and you will also have more symbols than before. So basically, like, the recurring theme here is that each room has the same mechanic where you have to call out the symbols and have the other person shoot those symbols, but it escalates in difficulty and quantity each time. So where the last one, there were 2 symbols you had to shoot, this room, there's 3 symbols that you have to shoot, and then next room, there's going to be 4 symbols that you have to shoot. As you can see here, I'm now on the other roll, so my symbols, there will actually be a bunch of my symbols. See, here's one, there's another one over there. Once we're ready to shoot them, there will be a whole bunch of symbols shooting around or flying around in the whole area, and he will have to tell me which ones I need to shoot in order to make it complete. Okay, so Love, Guardian, and Earth. And boom, there we go. It now says paracausal energy tears around you down in the bottom left. And that means that we are now teleporting on to the next room where we will have to do the same thing again, except now our roles will switch once more and we will also have 4 symbols instead of 3. Climb up these little platforms right here. You'll have to take out all the enemies and then do a very similar process. As you can see right here, there's now the 4 boxes, so that means that there's going to be a symbol on each one, and like before, when you pick up a mote, that is what causes the symbol to spawn. Another thing to note here is that each time you progress onto a different section of the mission, it will give you more time on the clock. So you don't have to worry about completing the entire thing within the small amount of time that it gives you at the very beginning, because each section will kind of refresh you and give you a little bit more buffer to work with. So as you can see here, I just picked up my final mote, and now I have to call out these symbols so that he can shoot the correct ones. We've got Ascend, then we've got Forsaken, then we've got Darkness, and then we've got Brain. What you're going to want to do is come up into this area with your teammate and protect him so he's not getting shot by all the enemies, and then he will just shoot all the different symbols to enter them. Once you're done with that, you will then get teleported once again, but this time there will be a bit of a different situation. You will have to run forward, and there will be kind of like a strange jumping puzzle that you have to deal with. One important note is you should absolutely not go to this platform right here. I don't know why, but this one is bugged, and you will get permanently stuck in this void where there's just like white light everywhere, and no matter what you do, you cannot escape, and you will just have to restart the entire mission. I don't know why that happened to us, but yeah, absolutely avoid that at all costs. So as you can see in the background gameplay, just kind of follow along this path. It's relatively intuitive. There's not really any hidden areas or little secret holes that you need to go to. Just kind of follow your gut, keep going. Eventually there will be these enemies here to the left. You probably want to take them out so that they don't mess with you while you're trying to get along this little crouch area. Then once you make it to the next room, you'll notice that there's the light and darkness plates again. You'll have to step on them in order to move on. But then you'll also notice that there is another set of plates just almost directly after that. The light one is kind of hidden away over here, and the darkness one is outside more intuitively. So jump on the plates, and then you'll be able to continue making progress through this area. There will actually be several more sets of plates after this, and your goal will be to essentially just travel upward and continue progressing through this jumping puzzle. There will be some snipers that are trying to mess with you while you step on the plates, so it might be beneficial to bring a long-ranged weapon so you can take them out. But alternatively, you can kind of just strafe like you can see me doing here, and the snipers will actually miss like 100% of the time, so you don't have to worry about them if you just stay moving. Once you're done with that, you will see in the bottom left the light and darkness manifest, and you'll proceed forward, and there will be these ogre enemies that you just have to take out, followed by 2 more of the plates. It might seem like this is kind of another jumping puzzle where you need to go up, but actually you need to go down and then go right into this little hole to reach a major room. Alright, so welcome to the second to last encounter. Your goal here will be to kill ads, kill a tormentor enemy, and then eventually shoot certain one of these like fragment darkness things in order to progress to the next encounter and destroy these massive floating pyramids that are in the sky. In order to do this, you will first need to clear out the ads, and then you will defeat the tormentor. And the person who deals the final blow on the tormentor will get a special buff that lasts for like 30 seconds or something. You need to communicate with your teammate to find out which one of these darkness splinter things has energy coming out of it. So for example, what we did is we labeled them with numbers starting on the left and going to the right. So for example, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we called out which numbers we could both see. And then the person with the buff would be able to shoot the ones that are glowing on both persons' screens. Once you do that, it will destroy the big floaty thing, and then you will be able to progress to the next room. Now, something to note about this overall mission is that there is a timer, and if the timer reaches 0, you will just wipe and have to restart the entire thing. However, the timer is like very lenient. So as long as you're like progressing forward and you're actually like doing the mechanics, you probably will not run out of time. The only way you'll really run out of time is if you're confused, you don't know what to do, and you like try it 10 times and then fail over and over. And yeah, eventually at that point, you will run out of time. All right, so welcome to this section. This is the final section, the final encounter that you need to do. And like a lot of Destiny missions, this one is a combination of a lot of the previous mechanics, but also it is slightly modified in a very important way. So you will still need to understand how it functions in this specific part of the mission. There are 2 bosses here, and you need to take both of them out, but there will be multiple different phases with the multiple different mechanics. So the first thing you'll need to do is stand on the plates in order to begin, and then you'll be doing some ad clear and dealing damage to the first boss. Once you get the boss to its health gate, you will need to go around the room, and there will be the symbols mechanic. In order to access the symbols mechanic, you'll need to kill the wizard. So, for example, the light player will need to kill the light wizard, the dark player will need to kill the dark wizard, and that will actually be it. Like, it's not like the previous encounter where you needed to kill multiple enemies to get motes. In this case, it's just as soon as you kill the wizard, all of the symbols will be revealed, and you'll be able to progress forward. The player who is looking at the symbols, the player who's like showing the other player which one to shoot, they will be able to see the symbols in the middle from top to bottom. And they need to be read out from top to bottom, and then the other player will need to shoot them in that order. After you do this, there will again be more ads, and I definitely recommend at least taking care of the ads that are doing like stasis and strand and stuff everywhere, because they can definitely wipe you out and freeze you and stuff. So anyway, you can take care of the ads, but then also it's time for DPS of the boss once again. When the boss becomes low on health, it will disappear. There will be another health gate. It will go hide in this little area, and there will be a new boss that is spawning in. This is basically very similar to the last one. You just have to get it low on health to a health gate and then do the next mechanic. You will be doing the symbols just like before, except now your roles have been reversed. So the person who was originally like telling you which ones to shoot will now be the one shooting them. After this, you will be able to deal damage to the boss again, and then eventually it will get low on health, go to the health gate, and also go away to hide just like the first boss. You will then need to do a mechanic that is kind of similar to the one from the previous encounter, but it now involves both players at the same time, and you have to sync it up really fast or else it will not work. So what you need to do is head over to the edge where you will find these clock-like things. And by the way, I do recommend labeling it as a clock, because now there are actually 12 like Splinter of Darkness things. So you can just label it like 12 on the top, like 1, 2, 3, you know, just like a normal clock would be. And then you will need to call out the ones that are lit up, and both players will need to shoot the one that they have in common at the same time. So in practice, here's what it actually looked like in my fire team. He started calling out numbers, and then I instantly called out which one is the correct one that we both had, and then both of us shot that in order to progress the encounter and complete the mechanic.
I've got 9, 11,
9.
1, and...
You will need to do this multiple times, but eventually what this will do is it will cause the shields protecting both of the bosses to come down, and you will now be able to take out both of the bosses once and for all. Once you defeat both of the bosses, you will be teleported to this prison area where you actually cannot escape no matter what you do, and then you will actually just die. Afterward, it will teleport you back out into the arena where you can deposit these things in order to free yourself from this prison, and then you will be able to fight against your teammate as if it was actual PvP. You will have a lot more hit points than you do in regular PvP, so it will actually take several shots to defeat someone, but once one of the players has been defeated, the person who is still alive will head to the center area and go crush their ghost. You won't actually be able to crush their ghost though, and instead you will just die, and eventually you will then be spawned back into the middle of the room where you can collect your loot. You will receive your class item that is randomly rolled with one of each of the perks in each column. And yeah, congratulations, you've now completed the Dual Destiny mission and you've gotten access to one of the awesome class items. This activity is farmable, so you can do it over and over to get tons of these class items, and hopefully you will eventually get the one with the perk combos that you want. It looks like you can also get additional drops of the class item from a rare chance at any chest in the Pale Heart. So if you want to just go around and farm that way, that is also up to you. If you enjoyed the video, thumbs up is great, and please subscribe because this channel is brand new. This is my third channel for those of you who don't know, so hit the subscribe button. Thanks so much, and have a good day.